Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings of peace, blessings. Dear friends, those concerned, interested. Uh, I'm going to speak in Urdu somewhat because I'm kind of what I've learned in my childhood. It's my mother language. So I'm more fluent in that. This is about miscellaneous things, corrections of mine, and where I forgot to put the right thing, say the right thing. And about the killings of Shias in Pakistan, elsewhere too. We Shias, we know about history. It all falls into proper perspective for us, logically. So there were some very terrible people, hypocrites, who embraced Islam. This is in the Quran too, that they say we want peace, but they don't really want peace. A part of the surah in a verse in the Quran surah. Some surah I cannot remember the names of those surahs. Yes, so there were many intrigues and connivingness and a lot of hatred for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This went on in a terrible, devastating way against the Prophet's family members. History tells us we don't believe. We believe because history has told us. So how did it tell us and didn't tell the majority of people? The majority of Muslims was because if you go through history the way our historians, Islamic historians, jurists, Islamic jurists, religious scholars have gone through it, then their way, I mean not their way, but the way of bringing the history into proper perspective. Because reading Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, you would be, if you really read it as an unbiased person, unprejudiced, you would go crazy. You would want to pull your hair, scream and shout, and it's terrible. But not pull anyone else's hair. So this is our thing in the Shia Muslims that even recently I heard, that life in the Quran, God says that life is sanctified. Life is sanctified. Now, since all these killings and everything, we've had to harden our heart because we could have just died of shock or something. In Pakistan too, just going there on Fridays, Friday prayers, attacking those people, praying. Nowhere does Islam say this kind of a thing. But I don't know, the enemies of Islam have made this and made that group stronger. The hypocrite, the enemies of Islam, like they were Muslims because they followed very blindly or in their own way. They loved Prophet Muhammad and they were not allowed to question the Sahabas, the wives of the Prophet, some of the wives, or any wife. But we have to see everything properly, like who hurt Prophet Muhammad. And there's a surah, Tahrim, which I repeatedly say, that They went against the wives who went against Prophet Muhammad. So then if someone tells me that the whole history, what these wives did against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and look into Sahih Muslim, she even met Mawiya in her house, they say, okay, in her room. So all these things, and then we are told that why do you vilify? Why do you make the wife of the Prophet so wicked? Why do you show her so wicked? We don't show her that she's wicked. It's in the history books of Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari. Please understand this. This is a thing from my heart. I'm speaking to you all who are level-headed, who care for humanity, who don't want to see anyone hurt. Really, we do not hurt anyone. When it comes to our Shia Muslims, the sanctity of life, it's so important. Thanks for reminding me in that video, one of the videos where the Shias and the atheists, anti-Muslims, anti-Islam people are had a debate. So David Wood and Robert Spencer, Mr. David Wood and Mr. Robert Spencer had with my Shia Sayyid Taqi, Atiq. Yes, so someone was saying that on YouTube, they were asking me that if you show some of the Sahabas and the wives like this so bad, then you have killed people in their name, like in the name, same name of Aisha. Sorry, the name just came out. For example, like Abu Bakr, Umar, Osman, and Aisha, Hafsa. So Hafsa, I'm just, because my principal's eldest sister's name was Hafsa. And I was telling her on the phone that if I don't, if we are of no service to you, then there is nothing for us in life. And so, like that, because I love that family so much. Anyways, this is not personal. I mean, I don't want to get personal. It's just that we Shias don't kill anyone. Because, and if anyone in the past has done that, they are not Shia Muslims. This is completely forbidden, because the sanctity of life is sacred. It's in the Quran verse. If you understand that word, and if you go through that debate, or if you know the proper wordings of the Quran, how to interpret the words. Yes, and us 12 Shias, they are waiting for their 12th Imam to come and bring the true Quran. So this is so, like, it's coming out now in videos. If you see YouTube, you will realize how much of the Quran has been not understood properly, in its proper context, in its proper words, like the sanctity of life. God has given life so much importance. In the Quran, it says. Yes, and we were told that these anti-Islamic believers of these terrorists in Islam, who wanted to completely distort the face of Islam, Nauzubillah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, You know, it's very important now what, if I'm going through Imam Tawhidi's YouTube and all, and so I think he's doing the right thing. This is, we were, I was thinking that if my Imam comes, 12th Imam, how is he going to bring a reform, one man, in Islam? Islam that we know is totally distorted. Even as Shia Muslims, like some of the things, we don't know. Like in the Quran, for example, it says that about fasting. It says that fast when the, you know, with the timings, sunrise to sunset. Thread is white, and when the thread becomes black, then open your fast. So break your fast. And so, uh, like, it's not a good word, break your fast, because when we break our fast, it's in the middle. So this would be like complete your fast. Now there are places in, I've been to Norway. I know that in the summer, it's hardly the thread gets black. It only gets black for a few minutes in Norway. Oh, so now, sorry, this is turning into a, not a Urdu, but an English video recording. Okay, so I'm confused about this, that the Lord who knows everything and who said, I know everything and I've put everything in the Quran, doesn't know this, like David Wood, Mr. David Wood has argued about this thing and brought to my attention. There is Finland, then there's the North Pole and the South Pole. Only in Norway, in the summer, it would hardly get the thing, black thread. So they would open, complete their fast, and it's very confusing. For a few moments and again start fasting. And so this I've said, and what is more that I want to say? More is that we don't go killing people for the namesake of Aisha, Abu Bakr, Umar. Oh God, please, we don't do this kind of a thing. We avoid, disassociate ourselves, but we don't go killing people. And like in Saudi Arabia, if our Shia Muslim scholars are there, they're not allowed to go against the government. So they can do hijrat, move away, like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did when there was a threat to his life. He was against some of the Quraysh who were idolaters there, pagans. So personally, I don't believe in going against the government like that. I mean, I've said things against the UAE sheikhs and all that because of my madness. It's a personal madness. But if I was in my true senses as a true Shia Muslim, I would not say anything. You have to see this country, what UAE provides, peace and everything. But sometimes I do have terrible doubts. But that is all personal. Actually, it's not malicious from my part. I want UAE to thrive, and there's no jealousy or anything. Oh, yes, and I'm not trying to incite any enemy then to start saying things against UAE. The people here, they've tried their best. Why should we go back to the poverty-stricken type and then have the enemy even more on us? like they did in Pakistan with the Muslims. So sometimes you have to become like, money is important. And nowadays, if we don't have money, then the big superpowers of the world will harap us, completely swallow us up, like they did in Pakistan, using the weakness or you see, they used the weakness of the Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukhari, the history of Islamic history. Then they've made it even worse, give bribes and uh, whatever they do, so much treacherously. They incite these people, to kill the Shias even more, sectarian fights and all that. This they've succeeded in Pakistan and elsewhere, but they haven't succeeded here in the UAE. Thanks to the sheikhs much for this, and that we have money, so they are scared. And yes, please do not get me wrong. Some of the Shia Muslims now, yes, I understand after so many years of genocide and the wrong Islam being practiced and stoning, whipping, and beheading. I know that in Saudi Arabia, some of the cases against Shia Muslim scholars, I'm not undermining their lives, but and the shahadat, the martyrdom. So I'd rather not speak about that. God, it's between God and that martyred. And of course, if my family was martyred there, but I would not allow my family members to protest against the government, because we already know that they are using the wrong Islam. And even if we know that they are using the wrong Islam, see, I stay away. I haven't even been to Hajj. So I made up my mind that I would go to Hajj when my last Imam comes. Then that would be proper Hajj for me. I mean, I'm the type of person who kind of, holds on to the zire, and probably I'd go and go down on where Rasulullah's Rosa is. See, because then this reminder from this Noha, फातिमा सुगरा रो रो के बयां करती थी, सदाक देती थी, रोज़ा अहमद मुख्तार हिला करती थी, तूने हर जुल्म किया शाम के रहने वालों, सानी ये ज़हरा तुम्हें फिर भी दुआ देती है. Okay, so Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. So now in English translation, a little bit, the last part is that even though the people of Damascus, Sham, Syria, against Bayt at that time, when they were captives coming from Karbala, so Bibi Zainab, salam Allah alayha, even though they were so oppressed and there was ongoing atrocities against them, Bibi Zainab, salam Allah alayha, Sani Zahra, still prays for you, didn't curse. Oh, you see, Imam Hussein alayhi salam told Bibi Zainab, salam Allah alayha, do not curse them, because if you curse them, then that would be the true curse of Allah upon them. And so it will take effect immediately. This is mentioned in our majlises, Muharram, Safar months majlises. So what was this? That Imam Hussein alayhi salam was still saving Ibn Ziyad's children, Yazid's children, that army of Salomon's children. Why? So you see, we are supposed to take the atrocities, the zulm that even though they were they were Muslims, they were not really Muslims. They were enemies of Muslims. And even then, we're supposed to take it to such an extent, the extent of, if we are true Shias, the extent where Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, Bibi Zainab salam alayha took it, and their people at that time. Okay, I will come later. Thank you very much. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.